What's up, what's up, what's up? Good morning, my scruffy family. It's a Sunday. The Chicago mayor, Brandon Johnson, he got some splaining to do. The immigrant crisis over there is making it so the burden of the taxes with the budget and how it's falling apart, they're projecting a budget deficit $538 million for 2024, blamed on the growing immigrant crisis in Chicago, where he's spending a ton of money, where he's not housing the homeless that live there, where it's coming into the winter months. And these people that live there are going to be out on the street while they have immigrants living the American dream. I'm going to tell you right now,
Chicago Mayor
people,
Brandon Johnson has announced that the city is facing a more than $500 million budget deficit for 2024. Now, $200 million of that his office attributes to the growing cost of caring for migrants.
NBC5 Investigates has been working to follow the money in this.
Now, $200 million is for caring for migrants. Why isn't that $200 million found when the people who live there are on the street? So that's why I say homelessness is a choice. It's a choice. We are the richest nation in history, but we still have homeless people.
Crisis. Bennett Haberly now joins us now with more on what he's uncovered. Bennett.
Marion and Alex, the more migrants who arrive in Chicago, the higher costs to the city. But exactly how that money has been spent has been a...
Hold on a second. They said the more migrants that arrive, the higher cost to the city. We already know this, but the city never pays for the people who live there. Only people who get imported. I guess that's they're special because they're imported.
harder question to answer. They now call Chicago home. More than 13,000 migrants who've arrived in the past year and been placed in hotels, police stations, and shelters across the city. This man told our sister station Telemundo Chicago he's been given a good bed and a good life.
Woo! I don't have a problem with that, but you know what I do have a problem with? The homeless people sleeping right outside that don't have a better life. He just showed up. What about the people who live there? What about the people who deserve to be there?
Staying at the Inn of Chicago, a shelter that houses 1,500 people. For months, NBC5 Investigates has been asking city agencies for copies of financial records to better understand where the money has flowed to care for migrants.
And once again, why do we not know where the money is? Who's keeping the financial records? Nothing, because there's money in a broken system. So they're siphoning off their part. That's why they keep bringing immigrants in, because they're going to displace the workers that are there, because you're asking for too much. At least that's what they say. You can't have. So they're going to come in, they're going to pay them minimum wage, and actually, until they get their working papers and they can work here, they're going to pay them under the table, so they're going to pay them, they're going to get a windfall. The rich people are getting a windfall here. Don't let them fool you, people. Chicago is for Chicagoans, or Chicagoites, or Chicago people who live there.
While the city continues to withhold many of the records we've requested, we did obtain contracts and a spreadsheet showing...
Woo! And they're withholding records? Why is the city withholding records? Aren't we always talking about transparency and all that stuff? Now, if we can take a little look here, what did they... Whoa! Family. You see this favorite healthcare staffing Inc. Temporary services. Now, the temporary services, people, you know what that is in your city if you've been there. You know what that is in your city if you've been there. Temporary services, people get WIC, people get EBT. Well, I guess it would be food stamps or whatever you want to call. But let's look at this, please. Temporary staffing services on October 7, 2022, paid them $49,400. On the 14th, October 14th, they turned around and paid him another $307,000. $307,000. On the 14th, also, they paid him another $56,700. Then on the 14th, again, they got another payment of $11,880. That's more than most people make in 2 years, 3 years. Where did they get the money to help the homeless that live there? Really? Our YMCA is shut down. We don't have a YMCA. Actually, our YMCA that is supposed to help low-cost people, when I had my son go there for swimming lessons, this was 10, 15 years ago, I signed him up. So did some of the people that I worked with. As soon as we paid, they shut down. And there's been no YMCA since. But their YMCA on December 23rd of 2022 got $38,000 security and porter services. The YMCA of the Metro Chicago. And then on December 30th, 2022, they got $38,000 again? What is going on? Hold on a second. There's a whole bunch more. The favored healthcare staffing with the temporary services. October 28th, 2022, $55,000. October 28th, 2022, $70,000. November 11th, 2022, what is that, $49,000? What is going on? Where do you see these services for the average person? I can walk down the street and see homeless people that live here. Come on now.
Since October, the city has spent at least $83 million on this crisis. The bulk of that money, more than $56 million, went to Favorite Staffing, a Kansas-based company whose employees work at the shelters. In response to our requests, the city has so far provided just 2 invoices.
Hold on. Let's see. These invoices that they provided. This is ridiculous. Fam, can you see this? Chicago workers that are from this favored staffing. When the hell have you been paid $135 an hour for 12 hours, making $1,600? When have you been paid $135 an hour for 12 hours? When have you been paid $135 for 12 hours? Because I can tell you, December 17th, December 18th, and December 19th, they got paid that. Then, on December 20th, what does that say in here? We got $202 an hour. December 20th. Another person. First shift. I can see it. Who works first shift and they can get $202 without being an owner or a CEO or a high management? December 22nd. Another $202 an hour, totaling $2,430 for that shift. December 23rd, the next day, another $202 an hour. But they've got more. They've got more. I want to go work for this place. I don't make that. You make that? Hold on, but let's go over to the side. We got one, $195 an hour for 12 hours. $195 an hour for 12 hours. $195, that's four. There's four. Now we got to the upper echelon, $292 an hour. $292 an hour. $292 an hour. $135 an hour. That's the base pay. $135 an hour is base pay. That's what it looks like. Then we got back up to $202 an hour. These are to take care of immigrants. Now, I think everybody should be taken care of, but you take care of your house first, your backyard first. This is so ridiculous. Look at these invoices. They're from 12/30/2022. That means they can still live off this. But you wonder why this is going so nuts.
Showing how much favored staffers are being paid. This invoice from the now closed shelter at Truman College shows a facility manager made $14,000 in 1 week. At this High Ridge
Woo! A facilities manager made $14,000 in 1 week. There are people who make that in a year. Really? So what is our government doing? They're prepping their next generation of workers so they can slave wage them and kick y'all out. You're getting ready to see it. So now, also, this is a manufactured crisis. If you really think that the Democrats don't want this to happen, and guess what? Sorry, Republicans, I'm letting you know too. You guys want it to happen too. You guys just act like you don't. Because y'all didn't close the border all the way when y'all were in power. So, you all want it. Republicans want the cheap labor, but they want the Democrats to pull the trigger. So therefore, I call them Dem Repubs or Repub Dems or whatever, because they're the same people. Are we sure now? Are we kidding you? What are you doing?
YMCA shelter, an invoice shows a nurse earned more than $20,000 for a week's worth of work. That same week, the shelter's manager's invoice billed for more than $14,000. These invoices did account for overtime.
Wow.
When we visited that shelter.
Wow. So, when your government says you can't have nothing, when Florida has a hurricane and their houses can't be taken care of, when Maui is on fire, when Palestine had the train wreck they're still going through, where people are getting sick because it's not cleaned up, all the chemicals that they burnt so it wouldn't catch on fire. It contaminated all their land, but who cares, right? We got the immigrants here in Chicago that we gotta take care of. We have to. That's what we do. We're going to take care of these immigrants no matter what. No matter what. The hell with you. You got all this. You have to still scrounge for health care while they're letting all this stuff go on. You got to scrounge for health care. You got people that are dying because they're having a hard time getting their high blood pressure medicine. You got people who are starving that have to go to food pantries knowing damn well this country can afford to take care of everybody. We paid for it, but you don't get it. You can't have it. It's not for you. It's not for you. So check this out, people. Do we understand the way our government works? Because it's not for you. Your money is not for you. One more time. Your money is not for you. Uncle Scruff, I'm out. Good morning. I hate to bring you bad news on a Saturday.